Okay, welcome back. Now we're gonna dive into how we can design your backyard all by yourself. We're gonna walk you through the steps. Here we go. Backyard design all starts from inside your house. I want you to say that again. Outdoor design starts from inside your house. Very important because it's called sight lines. So I want you to do this right now. Do this with me, please. Go into your house, whatever the main windows or the main doors of your house to the backyard are, to look out the windows and what do you see? What do you see? Do you see neighbors? Do you see neighbors' windows? Do you see a fence line? So take all of those windows and those doors from your backyard and make a note of what your sight lines see as you look out. So now I want you to go outside and I want you to look back towards the house. And what do you see? As you're looking back, you're gonna see your house, you're gonna see your windows, but you might just take a small turn of your head and you might see neighbors' windows looking into your space. And that's what I want you to make note of. Do your neighbors look into your space? Do they have a raised deck that if they're standing on it, they can look down into your space? Make note of what those sight lines are. Now that we have our sight lines done, that's gonna be your foundation of where you put your backyard items. Back to the list that you have, your structure, your fireplace, your fire pit, your outdoor kitchen. These items need to fit in your space, but I want it to be done in a way that's gonna attract your eye and hide the views from your neighbor's eye. That's that simple, okay? So what's the first item that we start with? Well, it's the foundation item, and it's the one that is attracting your eye from inside the house. It's the covered structure. It's the anchor of the space, all right? So your covered structure, either full covered or it could be the pergola. Where is it gonna go? I would love it to be one of the main sight lines that you see from your house. You go to your front door of your house, walk through your house. It's the first sight line that you see as you turn the corner and look at the backyard. That's where your structure more than likely is gonna be. And this is where the second part of design comes in. And this is where I want you to think of 3 different destinations in your backyard space. All right, so the covered structure is number 1, the anchor of the space. A lot of times I would say the number 2 is the fire pit destination. So where are we gonna put the fire pit that's gonna attract the most attention during the evening hours? Even in the warmer climates, it still gets a little cool in the evening hours. So think about, and just go ahead and trust me on this, do a fire pit. Fire pits are not something I would recommend underneath the structure. Make it your secondary destination outside of the structure. A lot of times, dining could even be your 3rd destination. So covered structure, fire pit, dining, 3 in one area. It doesn't have to encompass the whole backyard. It can encompass a part of the backyard. Now remember, we don't want to force it. We don't want to just put them in the corners for no reason. We want to have it where there's a large gathering area, but 3 destinations in that one area. Hope that makes sense. Now, if a covered structure or an anchor point intimidates you, remember Costco sells very nice covered structures. Here's an example of one. They're very easy to set up and you can put it in your backyard all by yourself. Or you could do an arbor, very simple, lumber, do it yourself, that would be great. But think about that anchor point, they're pretty important. Now you might be getting intimidated right now about where to put things and how to lay out. I just want to walk you through this backyard. Look at the way it looked when we started. Just a traditional square backyard. They had a building behind their space, in fact, but now look at the space. And we just used the principles of what I just taught you. Covered structure right outside of the door was their anchor. They had a double-sided fireplace that we utilized on both sides. They had their kitchen with an L shape. They had the bar on one side, very user-friendly. On the back side of that, we did the cornhole area for the kiddos and the adults. On the far side, we did another kind of relaxing area underneath the tree. We had the 4-season room over to the corner, and then we had the fire pit destination off to the side. One other major issue, I guess, so to speak, that people don't realize is proper flow through the space. Let's say you have this space that you've designed and you kind of put it all in this one area and it doesn't have the right flow. So what happens is you have the beautiful sight lines from inside the house, but when you go out there, you invite people over and there's nowhere for people to move around. You can hardly flow from point A to point B. You can hardly even sit there in comfort. Now, proper flow also takes into consideration all the decorating of your space. It's so important to get the outdoor furniture and the outdoor furniture set up correctly We're gonna talk about this in a future video as well, but that decorating is so important to get right so you don't overcrowd the space. You wanna be able to flow through the space correctly. Okay, we just talked about flow, and I just want to give you one other little tidbit: maximizing your space. As you're thinking about the layout of your space, I want you to think about stretching it out to the edges of your property. Remember, we want to turn your backyard into an outdoor living space, so let's use all of the space that we can. Now, this might include the area for the kids, but really stretch out and stretch it out to the max with all the items that you already have on your list. So don't be afraid about getting to the borders of your yard. Of course, you want to look at your setbacks of your house and your setbacks requirements for the jurisdiction that you live in. But if you can, stretch it out to maximize all of the space in your backyard. You won't regret it because you will have a lot of people in your backyard. Think about all the parties, all of the future gatherings, with all the celebrations that you're going to do in your backyard. Remember, you need the space, so stretch it out if you can. Now remember, part of the backyard is those side yards. Side yards are sometimes dead area that nobody gives attention to, but I want you to take use of those space. So you could put a little golf green in the backyard. You can use the side yard for your pet area. It happens all the time, and people love that for a little dog run area. And look at this homeowner on the side of their yard. They had a little neighborhood yard. They made that their trampoline area for their kids. They put their hot tub that was towards the side of their house, and they even put a little outdoor shower right next to their garden. So they really maximize the use of their space. Now, don't worry necessarily about having that large lawn unless you want to have the soccer ball out, but really, if that's the case too, think about it strategically to try to maximize the space, because remember, you're going to be having so many people in your backyard living space for generations perhaps to come. You might have those parties. You might have your kids' friends at your house. So think about filling it up with people. That's the focus. We don't want to just have a large lawn anymore. So now we would love for you to take this time and let us know, again, little action step. Let us know in the comments below, what are the 2 things that you're most excited to do in your backyard? What are they? We'd love to hear from you direct. Is it a fire feature? Is it a covered structure? Is it an outdoor kitchen? What are the 2 favorite things that you're looking forward to? Put them in the comments below, because I'd like to show some education on those items in the next video. So if you could let us know that, we would definitely appreciate it. It's only going to benefit you. So thank you very much. So now we should be super close with your design. Have you taken a piece of paper out and drawn it out yet? If you haven't, now's a great time to do that. Either a piece of paper or even a graph paper. Throw your windows, like just as a little square to show your windows and your door, and then put the border of your property in the paper, and then go ahead and put your items that you want to do in your space. Design it all in a 2D space right now, if you haven't already done so. All right, are you excited? Because I'm excited. You're making the progress finally. This season will be the start of your new backyard living space, and I'm pumped for you. So we're also going to walk you through how you can do this with even more confidence in the next video, because I'm going to show you how we can check your work. In fact, me and my team will ensure that what you're doing is correct, and I'm going to teach you all about how we'll do that in the next video.